Hey guys, let's talk about Comb Financial. A while back I did a video on this talking about their nodes because that's all they had was nodes. And since then, the nodes are, basically I kind of aped into this thing. And after a while, it was paying out pretty well. I got a couple of good cycles in. And then they it wasn't intentional, but I think they came to realize that they cannot just sell nodes and just pay out the rewards that they were paying out. That just wasn't sustainable. So they did this. We reached node cap. They put a cap on all the nodes, and you can no longer purchase nodes. It's just, they figured that out, and then they started rolling out other functionality. And the idea is to not make this solely reliant on nodes. So if you don't understand what a node is, it's usually it's almost like an investment block, or if they're actually validator nodes, which they had, they had endpoint. They've got endpoints for all their nodes that are created. If you think about it, if you're just selling these blocks and then giving out rewards, if there's no actually investment behind the scenes, then it's just, you might as well be an ROI DApp at that point. They weren't at that point because there was something behind them. There were actually endpoints. But if you keep just creating nodes that have endpoints, there's a limit on how much that can be sustained over the long term. Eventually, you have all these validator nodes and they're just sitting there doing nothing and they're not being used for anything, then they're not going to be paying really for anything. So what happened is they put that node cap on there, and this price just went down. It just kept going down and down and down, and it was pretty tough to see. Let's look at let's see if we got some charts here. Let's see if it'll pull up a chart. We have to give it a second here. I don't know. Spirit Swap, I've never really liked their charts because they just take so long. I guess we could pull it on Dex Screener. Let's pull that up. That is not the token we want, but we can look up Comb, which is Comb Finance. Let's go to the USDC price. So if we look at, let's pull up the daily chart, that'll give us a better idea. I don't think this is the correct one. Let's go back over to Spirit Swap. Yeah, this will give us a better idea. This is the 1 hour. Let's see if we can switch that to daily. I guess we can't. We probably could. We'll switch that to daily. And you can see how this thing was riding up here. This node was paying really well. It was doing awesome. And then as soon as they put that node cap on a week or two ago, it just dropped. It was up here at 285 and it dropped down to, was this 54? So it dropped more than, it's dropped like 80% or so. So yeah, I was not too happy about that investment choice. And I didn't know if there was a bottom because there was no, they dropped all new nodes coming in, so that dropped any new investments coming in. So then they had to kind of pivot because they realized it wasn't sustainable. So they're like, we're going to pivot. We're shutting off our nodes and moving. So when that pivot happened, as an investor, that's very worrying. So that was kind of a, as an investor, that's kind of a scary thing to go through because you don't know where the bottom of this is. It was up here at, 2, up over 300. Back here is up, up over 400. Is this going to drop and go to nothing? It's going to go to $2. Am I going to get, $10 a month out of my nodes that I paid, thousands for? So that was quite the time. So since then, we'll get rid of this one. They've come up with several things to try to make this much more sustainable. First is zComb. I just put a tiny bit. I'll probably put more into this because I think it's actually kind of an interesting idea. So this is DeFi as a service. You deposit comb, and it generates zComb, which is you lock up your comb tokens, and what they do with those funds is they invest it into all these different protocols, and then you reap the rewards off of those. So if one of these goes down, if all of a sudden Spirit Swap or something tanks, you've got all these other ones that are still going. So it's much more stable, a lot less risk because you're spreading that risk over many projects. So yeah, I mean, it's not paying tons right now because I have like $25 into it. I'll probably put some more into that later. The other things they have is similar to like Beefy Finance and stuff like that. They have auto compounding vaults now. These are all things that are new since they shut off the nodes, purchasing new nodes. You still have your nodes if you bought them before, but they have all these different investment things going on. So they have these auto compounders that just auto compound. Some of these have pretty decent rates, like that's a 109 APY. So that's halfway decent. There's one for 322 APY. That one I just don't know much, I don't know much about RDL. Phantom token has been very volatile, so yeah, you just have to worry about impermanent loss on these. And then the farms too. There's some farms in here that I really like finding farms that match up. Let's find some. I'm sure there's some that just have some stable coins. There's a Phantom and Diet that 91%. That's pretty decent. Yeah, here's 3 stable coins all together. You put in 3 of them and you get 34%. Yeah, kind of interesting. So yeah, it's got farms now, so zComb, the farms, the compounders. And then they just introduced, this was, the 6th, so about 4 or 5 days ago, they're doing things called Podz. And this is kind of cool because they're basically getting into the NFT space. And the way this thing works is you purchase an NFT, and it pays out in tokens, either Phantom, Ethereum, or Bitcoin. So you're not tied to the Comb token. You're actually paid out in one of these 3, Phantom, Ethereum, or Bitcoin. And you can kind of choose which ones you want to do. And it's interesting because, traditionally a lot of these are just paid by the treasury, and you have to put most of it into the treasury, but only 1 out of the 10 that you invest goes into the treasury. And the other, like a big chunk of it goes into liquidity mining services. So these are actually doing mining of tokens and things. There's liquidity mining, so they're investing this stuff into different services behind the scenes, and you're going to be paid out in Phantom, Bitcoin, or Ethereum, which is actually really cool. You'll get daily rewards of those. And what I liked about this is, we've been kind of following along with Baked Beans and the whole 6-to-1 strategy, and you withdraw, and then you compound for a set amount of time, and then you withdraw. This has a very similar thing where you don't want to just keep withdrawing. It has like a pod health, and when you claim, obviously that health will go down because you remove some of that investment from there. And you want to keep this thing, over like 70%. So you'd want to withdraw and then compound a bit, and then withdraw and compound a bit, and keep that health meter up there. This is something to be really cool if it was on something like baked beans, so you could see where you were kind of with your withdrawals. So that would be an interesting thing to see. So that's what I'm excited about, is getting a pod and kind of feeding it, keeping it going, keeping the health up there. It says that they recommend all pod holders to feed their pod when it reaches 70 to 80%. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. And if it says there, if a pod goes to 0, the pod doesn't die. It'll still be mining for rewards, but you will not generate as many rewards as a healthy pod. Yeah, so kind of cool stuff. Let's look at this. Blah blah blah. So collectively, the pods create one grand miner, mining for rewards melted down in Phantom, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. So yeah, they are almost independent of the price of comb. So you don't have to worry about the price of comb tanking. You just have to worry about the price of one of those tokens tanking. And days like today, that's kind of what's happening right now. But things will pick back up. I mean, this is kind of the cycles we go through. Blah. So yeah, and then they have the roadmap link down there. So yeah, this is quite interesting. I'm curious as to what kind of. I don't think they can guarantee some kind of an APR, or sustain a high dynamic APR. So it's going to be changing. But you can't. I'm just curious about what it might be. Yeah, they say they forecast to be on 200 dynamic APR. So that's actually really good. That's kind of in line with something like Elephant in the Stampede. So it's right in that range there. APR is 200, so if you compound it, it'll obviously go up from there. For a much higher APY, closer to like 500-600% APY. But that's what you're compounding in, kind of your principal that's compounded. It's not what you're going to be taken into your wallet. So just remember that. So yeah, that's kind of what Comb Financial has going on. They are going to be releasing that, I think, on the 14th. And with that, I might have taken a hit, but I went and bought like 10 Comb tokens, just kind of I'm anticipating this thing to be launched. This price has been going up a bit here, so I don't know. I would think that if more people get excited about this new launch of the pods, this will continue to go up. But it's kind of a bet that we take when we purchase a token. We're hoping it goes up. We see news that's coming up, and we buy. I'm not looking to buy it and then sell it off really quick, because I'm not looking to make money on this. I'm looking to make money on the pods as a long-term investment. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating there. Anyway, that's kind of what's going on with Comb Financial. I do kind of like the zComb because it's much more stable. I like the idea of these pods with your kind of NFT investments. It's kind of cool, and I like being paid out in a more quote unquote stable token or coin. So anyway, guys, tell me what you think. Are pods something you're interested in? It's definitely something of interest to me. I kind of got upset when that price went down by 80%, because that made it so my return on investment for my nodes would take a very long time. But I mean, I'm still looking at a decent return every month, regardless. It has doubled since it, kind of went to the bottom, but almost anyway. Anyway, guys, yeah, tell me what you think about this. I've got another one coming out in just a few minutes. We're going to be talking about a few more of those baked bean clones. People keep asking me to review their contracts, so I'll just show their contracts. You can decide what to do with that information. That's up to you. But yeah, that's zComb Financial. I'm not sponsored by these guys. It's just something that I'm very interested in. So anyway, guys, yeah, let me know what you think. Go ahead and like the video if you like it. Hit subscribe if you want to subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.